How an abandoned kid created the best restaurant, Wendy's. Imagine the zeal and passion of a 6-week-old baby abandoned by his parents to start a business that will be recognized today as a great restaurant. You know nothing beats a great cheeseburger, and nothing beats determination as well. In today's video, we will look at how an abandoned kid created the best restaurant in the world. So watch this video till the end to find out, and do not forget to like this video. There's something common among all great business owners. They don't have it easy. Imagine being abandoned as a baby and facing difficulties when growing up. Instead of growing weak and timid, you only grow stronger and develop the zeal and passion for succeeding. This is the story of Dave Thomas, a strong, resilient, and passionate being. It all began in 1932 when Dave Thomas was born. Dave Thomas was born in New Jersey to his parents, who were dating and not married, and due to their inability to cater to the newborn's needs, they both decided to have baby Dave, who was just 6 weeks old, up for adoption. Dave was taken in by a couple from Michigan who didn't publicize his adoption for some reasons best known to them. One would have thought that with his adoption, Dave would finally know what it's like to grow up with a family. But no. His new mother passed away when he was 5 years old due to a rheumatic fever, and he was left to live with his new father, whose job wasn't stable. Dave's new father moves from one job to another, and they also relocate from one state to another. Most times, they have to settle down in trailers or abandoned houses. You will not believe what you will see next. Dave was always full of praise for his father. In an interview, he revealed that he was a hard worker and honest, but as far as being a father, he didn't have the time or the inclination. Even though the man didn't have time for Dave, as he was always busy with work, Dave's grandmother ensured she created the time and affection for little Dave. Dave's grandmother was a cook for a restaurant that serves family-style meals. Dave always fancied following her to work, so he could watch the way the staff and customers interacted with each other. He enjoys outings with his grandmother since, most of the time, his father just buys him dinner, which eventually helped Dave develop an interest in the greasy hamburger. When Dave clocked 10, his father remarried and they moved to Indiana. This prompted Dave to start looking for a job to provide means for himself. He ended up working several odd jobs he couldn't keep because he hated the jobs. One of such days was when he was fired from a new job at Walgreens after the owner discovered he was underage. Dave's new father, rather than be compassionate with him, rebuked Dave for not having the resilience to keep a job. After the rebuttal, Dave vowed never to lose a job again. Luckily, he secured another opportunity at a restaurant, the Regis, during the school year, so he could only work during the weekends for 12 hours. During the summer, he worked every day for 12 hours, working more than the stipulated time for an average worker. Dave worked hard and didn't mind the number of hours he was worked for the week. He was just happy to have a job and also learn from his employers, Frank and George Regis. The Regis, in turn, motivated Dave at any single opportunity they get. Dave felt renewed at his place of work, until the unthinkable happened. This is not the whole story. It is even going to get crazier. Keep watching. Dave's grandmother spilled the truth to him when he clocked 13. It really hurt that nobody told me before. It is a terrible feeling to know my biological mother didn't want me. Dave, who has a plan figured out to own a business, got more determined to prove his biological parents that he wasn't going to be a failure. When Dave was 15 years old, his father moved the family to Fort Wayne, and Dave had to leave Regis for a new job at the new location. Luckily, he got a job as a busboy at another restaurant, Hobby House, where he got another mentor, Phil Klaus. Phil was down to earth. Even in corporate wear, he would sweep and do the dishes. At Fort Wayne, Dave felt more at home that he didn't relocate with his family when his father's job moved him again. Someday you'll be proud of me. I'm going to have my own restaurant, and I'm going to be a success, he told his father as he prepared to leave. With his promise to his father, Dave started working 50 hours weekly to receive more paychecks than his colleagues. In one of his school essays on the pursuit of happiness, he wrote, "Before I ever go into business myself, I am going to know my business. I'm going to start on a small scale and build my experience. After I finish school, I want to join the army for a while and be a cook. In this way, I will get more experience. I will be all set to start the pursuit of happiness with a restaurant of my own. After a couple of weeks of writing the essay, Dave dropped out of school and enlisted in the army to gain experience, as indicated in his essay. After he was dispatched from the army, he returned to the hobby house as a cook. And from there, he worked his way up to the position of vice president. One day, Phil told Dave about Harlan Sanders, who he met at a business convention, and how he planned to add his chicken recipe to their food menu. Dave didn't buy the idea of Phil, but Phil was adamant that Sanders was a top guy, and his idea was the best. Phil went ahead to add Harlan's Kentucky Fried Chicken to the menu list, and for every piece of chicken Hobby House sells, Harlan Sanders will receive 5 cents as royalty. After the deal had been sealed and signed, Harlan Sanders visited the restaurant and met with Dave personally. And that was the moment that everything changed for Dave. Although Dave was initially skeptical about KFC's deal, but after meeting Sanders, he understood why Phil was adamant. Dave knew from their meeting that Sanders would help transform his life, as his KFC helped make Hobby House one of the first and biggest takeout restaurants in the United States. Soon, Phil decided to open more KFC stores in Columbus, but his partner then had no business idea. Hence, the business struggled, and Phil found himself in debt of close to $2 million. Wait a minute, this is not everything. Later in the video, we will show you how Dave helped Phil's business and also get the funds to start his personal business. Left with no choice, Phil turned to Dave to help him revitalize his business for a 40% stake in each. Everyone, including Sanders, thought Phil was crazy with such a suggestion and doubted Dave's competence. But Dave, who was married with 4 children then, proved them wrong. He completely revitalized the dead business by just simplifying the menu and changing the frying methods of the chicken. After his success, Dave sold his 40% franchise share for more than $1.5 million. Dave's plan for owning a business was still lingering in his mind, but safe to say he was scared to start. Dave constantly communicated with his friend, Len Imke, who always advised him to start his business, no matter what. After some months, the two friends went on a search for a hamburger in Columbus, but they couldn't get anything. Len lamented, "This is what I've been telling you. It's tough to get a meal down here at noon. We really need a hamburger operation." With this, Len successfully convinced Dave to start his business, Wendy's, which was named after his 8-year-old daughter. On November 15, 1969, Dave officially opened his business, specializing in making iconic square patties and frosty desserts. Wendy's proved all doubters wrong as it started to profit almost immediately. It was made public within 3 years and became the first restaurant to surpass $1 billion in annual sales. Within the first 10 years, Dave opened more stores faster than its competitors, and today, Wendy's is the 3rd largest hamburger chain in the United States. With over 6,500 stores in more than 30 countries, Dave went from being an abandoned kid to generating billions annually through Wendy's.